so full of bad things, it's frightening. Especially if you're alone.
The waitress is here?
Goddamn right I am.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about a film that I actually feel like didn't get the attention that it deserved, mainly because Lionsgate dropped the ball big time on this marketing. And that film is Americana, starring Sydney Sweeney, Halsey, and Paul Walter Hauser. And let me tell you guys right now, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie for the most part. So the setup of Americana is really interesting. The central plot revolves around a Native American ghost shirt that gets stolen by Eric Dane's character, and from there the movie plays out in chapters, and each one follows a different group of characters who all in all, or at least in one way or another, want to get their hands on this shirt, whether that be for money or to sell it or something like that. It's a classic MacGuffin style setup, but what I loved about it is how each story feels unique while still trying to get back to its central object. So the first big storyline we get is with Halsey. Now, she lives with Eric Dane, who is clearly abusive, and she ends up running away only to seek refuge with her abusive father. And if you thought Eric Dane's character was bad in this film, her father is on another level. He's a cult leader who believes women should be completely demeaned by men, so much so that he's twisted that he accepts payments from other men in the town to sleep with his daughters against their will, where he locks a door and lets them have their way. It's deeply disturbing stuff, and it actually makes Halsey's escape and search for identity feel even more urgent and heartbreaking. And Halsey really surprised me here. Her performance is pretty raw, it's unpolished in the best way, and it's the kind of role that kind of sticks with you, I feel like, as the year draws closer to the end. Now, next up we get a storyline with Halsey's son, who believes that he is the reincarnation of Sitting Bull. And this section was one of my favorites because he teams up with a group of Native Americans who are also trying to reclaim the ghost shirt. And the kid is absolutely committed to this role. He doesn't break character once, and that ends up bringing a surprising amount of laughs and levity to what is otherwise a very heavy story. But beneath the humor, it's also really important because it brings in themes of heritage, culture, identity, and what the ghost shirt actually really symbolizes. Finally, we get Sydney Sweeney's storyline, and it might actually be one of my favorite of the three. She plays a waitress with a stutter, but she's also got this amazing singing voice, and her whole dream is to escape her abusive home life and head to Nashville to pursue a career in music. That's where we enter Paul Walter Hauser's character, and the two quickly end up falling in love, and together they hatch this plan to steal the ghost shirt and sell it so they can use the money to fund her career. And it's a really sweet but also tragic pairing, and I thought both Sweeney and Hauser absolutely killed it. Sweeney in particular blew me away. She plays vulnerable and resilient at the same time, and that's not an easy balance. And Paul Walter Hauser's character is funny because he pretty much falls in love with any woman that comes into his general direction, where he's trying to propose to them within week 2. And what makes Americana work so well is that all these stories eventually do converge clearly. And I've always been a sucker for chapter-based storytelling, stuff like Pulp Fiction, Magnolia, or even The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. And Americana does it right. Each character feels distinct, and each chapter has its own mood, and by the time they all crash into each other, it feels earned. Now, if I had to nitpick, I'd say that the third act doesn't quite hit as hard as the rest of the movie. Not necessarily the ending, but just the overall general aspect of the third act. It leans into predictability, and for a story that was so bold and daring up until that point, it plays it a little too safe in the end. Not enough to ruin the experience, but enough that I noticed it. And without spoilers, it's kind of what you expect. You're probably already thinking. And at the end of the day, I thought that Americana is a film that I really, really loved. It has strong performances across the board, an engaging multi-perspective narrative, and some genuinely emotional storytelling. It's a shame that Lionsgate botched the marketing because I feel like this movie deserved better. And so with that, I'm going to give Americana a strong 9 out of 10, and that is my take. So with that, did you guys get a chance to see Americana? What did you guys think about the chapter-based structure, and which storyline was your favorite if you did see it? And with that, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more reviews just like this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.
Home is here, in the Great Spirit.
What am I supposed to say to that?